In this video, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a look at three top stories. Number one is the clash between the Honorable Member of Parliament for Kitutu Chache South, that's Honorable Anthony Kibagendi, with the Honorable CS Duale, who is currently the Cabinet Secretary for Health, yesterday in a confrontation that came as a result of Duale attending a parliamentary committee that wanted to have insights on the health department and specifically on SHA. Now, Duale blamed Honorable Kibagendi for having conflicted interest because certain of his hospitals were closed by SHA, and Honorable Kibagendi, in retaliating to Duale, said that he does not own any hospitals and blamed the CS for actually being part of the cohort that steals from Kenyans from the ongoing SHA. So that will be our main story, but after that we'll also take a look at the ploy to have Gideon move to the UDA government. Is it just aimed to getting votes come 2027 for that particular cohort, or is it a move that is being envisioned beyond 2027 and 2032 with the possibility of installing Gideon Moi as the next president after Ruto'S full term? We will close our analysis today in this episode by asking this question: how long will this ship sail now that it's been 12 days and the Raila Amolo Odinga's effect in the government is not being felt? Policies of the government are failing, the youths are silent, and any eruption can occur between now and 2027. I'm your host Ogola, and this is the Civic Lens. I'll start by first commending our subscribers, people who have actually taken it upon themselves to subscribe to the Civic Lens. Our statistics have changed from 84% to right now 79% of our viewers interact with our content and forget to subscribe. Before we delve into the substantive story, please just hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Now let's delve into the substantive story. There is a movement that is not either the United Opposition nor the UDA affiliated parties in government right now. This movement is called the Kenya Moja movement. In it are some forward-thinking young members of parliament who are now charting their own paths, and they are hoping that the Kenyan populace can rally behind them come 2027. Amongst them is Honorable Anthony Kibagendi, but the list is big. It has Babu Owino, it has Kalibamisi, it has Edwin Sifuna, it has Wamuchomba, it has quite a number of young visionary MPs. Now, Honorable Anthony Kibagendi has always set himself apart for being the individual that calls on the government nonsense when they occur. And yesterday was such an encounter that has been taken positively and negatively from different platforms in the Kenyan political sphere, and here at the Civic Lens we just want to break it down for you. Now, Duale is walking into a sector that is actually really conflicted under the Ruto government and previously under the Uhuru Kenyatta government. The health sector since 2002 has been moved from the hands of private practitioners to the government. Now, come 2010 constitution, the health sector was then devolved to county governments, balancing the interest and the health of citizens when the management of this sector is not fully under the hands of the national government and is devolved to the counties has posed challenges. Amongst this challenge was the National Health Insurance Fund that previously existed. Now, with the inception of the universal health coverage that Uhuru Kenyatta really wanted to enforce but did not, and the William Ruto government has taken it upon themselves to enforce, the shift from NHIF has led to SHIF, which is now the Social Health Insurance Fund being managed by the Social Health Authority, SHA. This shift has not been taken positively. In our episode here at the Civic Lens, we detail the rot in SHA and how billions were actually being siphoned out of this particular creation. But Mugala Muwe Haki Mpe, this particular health coverage seems to be an advancement from the previous health coverage that we had. And so if it could actually be put in the right hands, then this particular health coverage would be a plus for the Kenyan people. Now, it is in these hands that these debates have always been had. Some individuals feel like Duale's bullying mentality or bullying approach is what is needed for that particular sector to revive. Others believe that for Duale to actually work within the health sector, that particular approach that he has given naysayers and people attacking the implementation of this particular universal health coverage is the way to go. Others have felt that even though he is a cabinet secretary with good intentions and serving there to impose this particular good coverage, there is a way of speaking to the Kenyan people, and that tone really matters, bearing in mind that Duale's employers is not really the president himself, but the Kenyan people who delegate the power upon which Duale's appointment ends up in. And as a result, Nation Media House has previously called Duale's bullying utterances before, saying that Duale never answers questions. He goes straight to attack journalists and media houses whenever questions are posed to him. Now, perhaps the Nation Media Group and other individuals that have tried to question Duale were doing it from a small sphere point of view compared to Honorable Duale's position where he sits. And yesterday, he met his match. Honorable Anthony Kibagendi did not take it easy on Duale. He told Duale that sikuogopi and you cannot come here and co-chair this meeting just because you are the president's friend. If you take a look at how that meeting was actually being held, the chair was actually being chaired by Duale. And so the statements that were made by Anthony Kibagendi were well placed when it comes to intimidating the committee. However, they clashed when now Duale was saying that Kibagendi's hospitals have been closed by SHA, and that sparks the anger that he has because he has a conflict of interest in the matter. And Kibagendi in retaliation was telling Duale to mention any hospital that he owns, because he holds that he does not own any hospital, and therefore he blamed Duale and his official friends who owns hospital for using the good intended universal health coverage SHA to enrich themselves and steal from the Kenyan people. So Duale was actually being a bully yesterday, was being bullied by Kibagendi, but as the house would have it, the chairperson of the committee, the member of parliament who was chairing the committee, asked Kibagendi to walk out, which he did, giving now room for Duale to advocate its policies and the government policies on SHA, and even threatening to say that the people of Garissa Township can return him to that house where he had served to its apex and he does not have any intention of going back to.
I have no hospital. I've never owned even a dispensary. I've never owned even a dispensary. You are not living by your money. You are living by borrowed value. I have no hospital and will not allow you. You have a conflict of interest. You have crossed your border. We will not have a hospital. I have no hospital. We have anywhere. Everybody knows. That is the strategy you use to try and hide. You need to answer a question. Charge me. Charge me. You cannot be intimidating members. We are not your children. Who are you?
Let me take this.
No, we will not allow you. Just because you are the president's friend, we will not allow you. You are the extortion. You are the thief. You are stealing from chair. I'm not a thief. You and your friends are stealing from chair.
We have closed your office.
Where? I don't own a hospital.
And if possible, we will charge you in a court of law.
You can charge me. You can charge me. I don't own a hospital. You are the people stealing from SHA. You and your friends. You are going to export 12 because the company you are using to steal from SHA.
Honorable Kibagendi, we are dealing with this.
He's the one who should behave himself. He's the one who should behave himself.
We'll ask you, you made your point. Leave it there, let the chairman proceed.
You proceed, don't allow him to chair this meeting.
I am chairing this meeting, Honorable Kibagendi.
You are intimidated by this man.
I'm not intimidated. So let this exchange not between me and you. We can actually ask you to leave.
I can actually leave.
It's okay.
I can actually leave.
It's okay.
You can't live by borrowed values on the card.
You should not be this. You should not be this meeting. I will write to the speaker.
You write to the.
We will write to the speaker.
Produce evidence that I own a hospital. You are the one who should not be in this ministry. Your company is stealing from Shah. We will go to the speaker. You should not be in the health committee because of conflict of interest.
Honorable Kibagendi out.
You cannot be in this committee.
Escort the Honorable Kibagendi out.
Yes. And
You are leaving the borrowed funds.
Order, Chair.
Now, Honorable
You
Cynthia,
have no quorum.
let us proceed.
Honorable Chair, you know, the shouting match has been perpetrated by Honorable Kibagendi and the CS. It is utterly unfair for you to send Honorable Kibagendi out and have the CS stay here. Because they were the two of them. It was a shouting match between two people. It is unfair for you to send one member and leave the other party of champions. You cannot do that. It is unfair.
Let's take the next step on that one.
No one.
Let's take the next step.
Nonsense you're bringing to this country.
Honorable
Unaibia watu hapa.
Kibagendi, that's fine.
You should not be in this
Wewe unaibia watu.
Waziri, proceed and read your answers, and now do not interact directly with any other member.
Who are you? You think you can even...
Chairman, we will go to the speaker. This gentleman should not be in this committee because of conflict of interest.
Point of order.
Let me take this. It is not in your place on how this meeting is conducted.
Thank you, Chair.
Now, go and read what you have allowed you to read. Do not make any comments or any direction of any nature.
Thank you, Chair. We will tell the people of Kenya what is right.
Proceed.
But Chair, I agree with you.
Proceed.
Where your committee member...
Now, quickly on this one, you see, if Kibagendi was actually making these sentiments, then this is what largely the Kenyan people feel. And if you check on X right now, the conversations are all in support of Kibagendi, are threatening the eviction, or rather the impeachment of the Honorable Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale because of his misconduct in speech lately. However, very few people are attacking the substance of Honorable Duale. As much as they are saying he's a bully, his tone actually does not show respect and is in sometimes condescending, no one has actually questioned whether or not Duale is fit to be the CS for health and whether he is actually performing well under that particular department that he has since assumed position in after leaving the environmental department as also CS. So these conversations with Duale will unfold. We know very well that they will not end there. The political ramifications will be felt. If Duale wants to take it on Kibagendi, Kibagendi will feel the repercussions. And if members of parliament want to side with Kibagendi to punish Duale, Duale will feel the repercussions of the members of parliament that he has since not respected, even having served in that particular house for over 20 years. Now, that much is the altercation that took place between those two individuals. Let's delve into more political stories. Recently, as recent as 4 days ago, there was a meeting in Baringo that the president attended, and it was at the backyard of Moi. The meeting ended with the president putting a sheath of flowers on Moi's grave and addressing the Baringo residents and inviting an arm to the Moi's son, Honorable Gideon Moi, to join the team that is currently in the UDA side. We discussed that particular issue in line of the by-election that's supposed to be held in Baringo, but we did not go much in depth of what was the intention of President Ruto. Now, in this analysis, we want to delve deeper in what can come out of this unity and what it means to the Kenyan people, the opposition, the youths, and the UDA government. Ruto has since opened his arms very widely for the Moi family, remembering very well that Moi refused to meet Ruto prior to his death after meeting Raila in the previous elections. Now, Ruto's hate for the dynasty, which we have discussed in depth, has since changed, and Ruto has turned from a hustler to dynasty himself. This background puts us on the pedestal to understand why Gideon Moi is actually joining this cohort. Is Gideon Moi joining this cohort because he requires a prime cabinet position? Is he joining this cohort because he wants to join the government so bad? Is he joining this cohort because Ruto wants the last egg, being the Moi family, to be part of the Oginga, the Uhuru Kenyatta eggs that he has acquired? Or is he joining this cohort because Ruto wants a full block of the Rift Valley region come 2027 to vote him in? All these reasons seem unfit for why Gideon Moi would join Ruto, because then Gideon Moi has been a senator before, was going to be a senator with or without the help of Ruto, and has never shown any interest on being in the cabinet previously under Uhuru Kenyatta or even under William Ruto. So why is Gideon Moi joining the Ruto wave? Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila have done a spectrum view, and they have seen that if Ruto is to be ousted come 2027 or 2032, the alternatives that they leave or that remain in the table will not protect the interest of the dynasties. Now, the Kenyan people want change, and we want it so bad. We want all these people gone, but every single day they sit down to come up with the terms to keep them in power, to keep their resources protected, because they know that if this power shifts to the hands of the Kenyan people, the first thing that will be attacked will be their resources. So the Uhuru Kenyatta and the Uhuru family is key on protection of their resources. The Ogingas are very key in protection of their legacy and their resources in the Nyanza region. The Moi, their assets that have since remained because they don't have a lot of liquid cash, are also very keen on protecting the Moi resources. Now, William Ruto has since stopped being a hustler and has joined the dynasty. He has resources. Sometimes back, Rigathi Gachagua said he's up to around 4 trillion worth in Kenyan shillings. These particular resources are the targets of the United Opposition officials and any other person that wants to take power. You remember Mtata said it very clearly that if they take power, then the first mission is to arrest Ruto and defraud all his stolen resources. The same has been said within the confines of United Opposition, that if they take power, the first thing they'll ensure is that Ruto pays for his crimes, and the resources that he has acquired that cannot be accounted for will go back to the government. These are not just political talks. These are mission statements of individuals that want to take power and punish any other person that has previously sat in these confines. So what does Ruto have left? His only move is to consolidate the people that already have these resources and to ensure that he serves 2 of his terms while he is in good terms with these individuals, get to 2032 and hand over power to another individual that can protect their resources communally. And so this particular communal protection is what is putting Gideon Moi in the spotlight. Analysts have assessed that Gideon Moi will be in this particular seat to maintain or learn about the running of government, becoming a president, making connections with other external bodies up to 2032. Then come 2032, Ruto will proudly hand over the power reins to a fellow Kalenjin man, a son of a man that did not meet him when he was alive, but a man that learned under his feet, and that way Gideon will become the 6th president of the Republic of Kenya. Now that's a very good way of looking at it. Now let's look at the realities and challenges that can exist therein. You see, Gideon Moi's entry right now puts Okengo Matiang'i at a very weakening position in the current arrangement of the United Opposition. In its essence, it weakens the effect of the United Opposition, because if Matiang'i is to run under the Jubilee ticket come 2027, if he was to run perhaps under the Jubilee ticket come 2027, with the knowledge behind his head that come 2032 that particular position will be handed over to another person, I doubt if he will put all his resources together to get the votes for the Jubilee government. It will only reduce him to a weakling individual within the United Opposition arrangement, where Rigathi Gachagua will be the dominant candidate, and Matiang'i will have nothing left but to join the Ruto government and play tune to both Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga and Gideon Moi come 2032 without question. But is Matiang'i really willing to take that risk? As we see the developments around Moi, Matiang'i, Uhuru, Raila, let's ask ourselves this question. It's been roughly 12 days, and this is our third story, since Raila Odinga disappeared from the public limelight. Other people have taken Raila Odinga's disappearance differently. Others says that he's sick, others don't know where he is. But that aside, the effect of Raila's absence is felt in the political stage. And this is why. You remember 2024 and 2025 demonstrations? You remember that even if the Gen Zs themselves decided to leave the streets, the person that took credit for that quelling of the demonstrations was Raila Odinga. And you remember that sometimes back, prior to coming into power of both Raila Odinga, coming into an arrangement of power of Raila Odinga and Ruto's team had sworn that the only person who would not sit on that table was Raila Odinga. Among the individuals that swore that the person that would not sit on that table was Raila Odinga was Rigathi Gachagua. And as fate would have it, Rigathi Gachagua left the scene for Raila Odinga's entry. Now, it is safe to say that Raila Odinga has been one of the individuals that have saved Ruto's legacy this far. And without Odinga, perhaps then, the Gen Z's demonstrations would have quelled to a particular level that would have seen an ousting of a sitting president. Now, have you forgotten the story of Sakaja? Just about a month and a half ago, members of county assemblies of Nairobi wanted Sakaja out. And in a less than a week meeting held by Raila with his affiliates and Ruto with their affiliates, he saved Sakaja's bid. Now, Raila has done these two savings, and Raila has been working with Ruto all over, like Ruto's oracle man. Ruto requires Raila in every place he steps, mostly in the Nyanza region, to confirm his suitability or his stay in power until 2027. Now, Raila is not in the scene. The policies of the government just keeps being negative. SHA is questioned. Dons are still on the streets because they cannot arrive at an agreement with the government. The youths are silent. No one knows whether an eruption will occur tomorrow or next month or next week. And remember, June 2026 is coming, and the anniversary of the demonstrations will occur again. Between now and then, if the absence of Raila is prolonged, how will Ruto sail his ship to 2027? And if perhaps it is so prolonged up to another demonstration, then how will Ruto quell the demonstrations this time? It's very important to understand that Ruto's 2027 bid is somehow dependent on Raila. Ruto's survival until 2027 is also dependent on Raila. Now, since Raila has been off the scene for 12 days, within those 12 days, Ruto has done a turnabout of certain things to ensure that even with the absence of Raila, his house still steadies until 2027. Ruto has reached out to SK Macharia, who owns the biggest royal media team, or rather the media house in the country. Ruto has reached out to Gideon Moi, who owns the Standard. Those are two media houses that can shape his narrative. The Gideon Moi plays the legacy effect of the Moi's name and Moi's resources that is now in Ruto's backyard. Ruto has done all this and is intending to even partner with the Nairobi County government to create new opportunities for the youth. So it is very clear for Ruto that with the absence of Raila and with SK Macharia, Gideon Moi and all these other people coalesced in his basket, he requires the youth. So how will Ruto tap into the youth to sail his ship up to 2027 in absence of Raila? That is the only card Ruto is waiting for. That if Raila's absence be prolonged for some time, he intends to tap into the youth space, so that just like the Kenyatta family, the Oginga family, the Moi family, the SK Macharia's group that are now behind him, he needs his missing piece being the youth in his basket. And at that point, Ruto will not need Raila nor the Nyanza region. But Raila's effect goes beyond State House. The Nyanza is now in disarray. Who will take over Kasipul now that Raila is not there to give Boyd Were the direct support that has been given leaders previously? Are we witnessing an instance when now the people will choose against the enigma because of the enigma's absence? The truth is that the Kenyan political scene keeps shaking anxiously with each day that Raila keeps being absent. And as this anxiety builds up, it's going all the way to the State House. And if this absence prolongs, then sailing the ship to 2027 might not be so easy for William Ruto. Now, as we finish this episode, let us go a little bit back on the Gideon story. We detailed one end that Gideon is most likely being given a special seat as a waiting position ahead of Ruto's final term. Or is Gideon just being used as another ship to sail over and to be dumped? That is not new within the Ruto government, because we have seen him do that with Rigathi Gachagua when he sailed ship and dumped him. We have seen him staying in the ship of Uhuru Kenyatta, and even after being done, moving on without Uhuru Kenyatta. And if Uhuru Kenyatta's importance was so greater then than Gideon's right now, because he was the sitting president, he was a former long-term friend of President William Ruto, he was the son of the former president, the founding president of the nation, and if his friendship did not mean anything to Ruto come 2022, that Ruto took on the rails alone, will Gideon's senatorial position or senatorial influence in Baringo and the dwindling power of the Moi regime mean anything for William Ruto post 2027? At this juncture, we feel that individuals that are seeing the Ruto game beyond 2027 could just be dreaming of the intentions of Ruto, while the whole time Ruto's intention is just to survive this particular election and dump everyone who will feel like dead weight on his shoulders. This is the Civic Lens.